Okay, it is exactly 3 p.m. and we wholeheartedly welcome Ms. Swati to our session 4 titled Writing an Impressive Cover Letter and Designing Your CV or Resume. A brief introduction to Ms. Swati makes us understand that she is currently an executive of employer branding, delivery and inclusion at Demo PLC. She has a wealth of experience in talent acquisition and diversity and inclusion as well. That is why, based on her experience and expertise, we selected for this specific session to share her experiences with you all. Writing a cover letter to convince someone at first reading will be an art. Designing your CV or resume is another challenge. Most of you either copy the templates in the internet, even though there is nothing wrong, I believe. But how to master that art will be discussed in the next 1.5 hours session. So, Ms. Swati, with all the gratitude on behalf of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Languages of the Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka, I hand over the session to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lekamge, for that introduction, and thank you so much for having me here to speak to your students. I'm honored that you picked me as a speaker as well. So, good evening, good afternoon. I mean, it's almost evening. So, good evening to everybody. Hope everyone is keeping safe and everyone is having a good day so far. I saw you had an interesting session in the morning about, acing your interviews, the do's and don'ts, and, how to get that, dream job of yours. So it's amazing to see all of you, huge numbers and very, very engaged as well. I also went through the previous two sessions on YouTube. It was very, very nice to see how all of you engaged, asked questions and answered to the questions of speakers. And I expect the same today for this session as well, because yes, I will be sharing a lot of information, and given the time, 3 o'clock just after lunch, we might all get a little sleepy and a little bored and out of zone out, right? So in order to not let that happen, what we'll do is, I will be talking a lot, I will be giving you a lot of points. So feel free to unmute yourself and speak to me, ask questions so that we can all get clarified. One person's question can maybe clarify, like, 50 other people's question as well. So don't be scared, don't be nervous, don't shy away from asking or talking to me. I'm here. I've dedicated this 1.5 hours to speak to all of you and make sure that you guys are in the right track and will all get amazing job opportunities in the months to come or years to come. So, before we begin, right, I want to do a small icebreaker to get to know you better. Where are you looking at in terms of going to work and all of that? So, quickly just drop, messages in the chat box and tell me what your ambition is, what you want to be, what is the profession that you want to be in. Now, when we say ambition, we don't really, get asked these questions now. But as a child, we all get asked, "What is your ambition? What do you want to be when you grow up?" And we have multiple things. For example, when I was a kid, right, I wanted to be a teacher. Then I wanted to be a musician. Then I wanted to be a music director. Then I wanted to be a beautician. Then I wanted to be a marketer, right? Then I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And now I am an HR professional. So our lives can take twists and turns and really, throw experiences at us, and then tell you, okay, this is what you're most suitable for. So by the end of my university life, I did want to be a marketer still. So I was looking for marketing opportunities, and I got this internship at Demo. So I started off as an intern, and I've been here for about 3 years now. So why I took this job is because I really, really wanted to be a marketer, right? So my designation goes as employer, executive employer branding, diversity and inclusion. So employer branding is basically recruitment marketing. So that's what engaged me, and that's what told me, okay, let's take this up and try it out. So yeah, I'm waiting for you guys to tell me what you have decided at this point, what you have decided in terms of your future profession, what you want to be. Quickly, can we have responses in the chat box, please? Anyone? There is no right or wrong answer. I'm not going to judge you here. So anything that you want, absolutely anything. Anybody? Sure. So, okay, my Sinhala is not the best, right? So that's why I kept talking in English. I will try to include some Sinhala here and there, but if I go on to speak a lot in Sinhala, you will forget the Sinhala you know. So then, Mama, ahuwe ugulangen, ugulangta thiyana aspiration, career-wise, mukabda. Eka, you know, wachaneng mata kiyana. What profession do you want? Professional do you want to be? Ugulante you know, I mean, ugulante marketer kenek wendo neda, ugulante HR person kenek wendo neda, ugulante lawyer kenek wendo neda, naktan artist kenek, you know, musician kenek wendo neda. Just put those ideas, throw it here, so we get to know about each other a little deeper, and then we can dive quickly into the session. Anybody? Okay, I want to be a teacher. It's my dream since childhood. Amazing. Public speaker. Hasini wants to be a public speaker. Kudos to you. To be a translator. Very interesting. Okay. Anyone else? Do we have more volunteers? Okay, I'm going to give you, I want to be a statisticianist. Wow. Ambassador. Cartographer. Wow. So really interesting, very, very interesting, very diverse group of people. So very nice to meet you all. And I hope, okay, we have more coming in. Dolphin trainer, poet, translator, lawyer, police officer, interpreter. Amazing, guys. So amazing. Professor, lecturer in economics, motivational speaker and a translator, bank manager. Wow. Fashion designer. Okay, I'm totally stunned by the diversity of, you know, all of you, and amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your, you know, future aspiration. Thank you so much. So we'll dive into the session now, right? Let me just share my screen. Okay. Ravinder, could you tell me if my screen is visible to everyone and if it's on?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Okay. Right. Thank you so much. So, okay. The topic here is topic interview ready, right? Now, yes, this is not going to be a repetition of the session you had in the morning. In the morning, you learned about, you know, the do's and don'ts of interview. But now we're going to look at, okay, ඔගලන්ට interview එකකට select වෙන්න මොකක්ද කරන්න ඕන? And how do you get that right? How do you perfect your curriculum vitae, your CV, your resume, also known as your resume, and your cover letter, so that you get the opportunity of an interview and speak to your future, your, you know, the desired, your choice of employer or employer of choice, right? So to get there, to get the cut, because the market is really, really competitive, right? Godak undergraduates jobs, whether to try karnawa, internships, whether to try karnawa. So we need to make sure that we show our employer, the potential employer, what we have clearly, crisply, and straightforwardly, adding little colors to it here and there, and to really, really bring out your authentic personality. ඔගොල්ලන් ඇත්තටම ඔගොල්ලන්ගේ personality එක මොකක්ද කියලා you need to tell your potential employer, because these days nobody likes sugar coated cakes and stories and fake personalities, and everybody writes I am a highly motivational individual, highly enthusiastic. You have to be highly motivational. I mean, you have to be highly motivated. You have to be highly enthusiastic. ඔගොල්ලන් ඔක්කොමලාම highly motivated individuals වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි, any job, you can do any job, right? You can't just be not so motivated, grumpy and lazy. That's not gonna get you to a good position. So all of you have to be highly motivated, right? So how do we really bring up this, and how do we communicate this මුලින්ම ඔගොල්ලන්ගේ communication එක, ඔගොල්ලන් ගැන යන communication එක clearly අපි කොහොමද කරන්නේ කියලා තමයි මේ session එකේ අපි බලන්න යන්නේ, right? So like I said before, excuse my Sinhala, but I'm trying my best. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop in and ask. Okay. So what is a resume? What is a resume and why do we need this, right? So after all, it's more than a resume. It says it's a marketing document. May document එකේ ඔගොල්ලන්ව market කරන්න යන්නේ. This is my personality. This is what I am. These are my skills. These are my strengths. This is my experience. This is my background. This is where I come from. And this is the value I'm going to add to your organization. Right? So you are marketing yourself. Product එකක් ගත්තොත් product එකේ features මොකක්ද කියලා අපි හොයනවා. Ads, TV ads වලින් අපි බලනවා. Right? So එතකොට what do we, as a consumer, we get attracted to the product when we get to learn about the features and the use of the product through this marketing tool, this advertisement. So a resume is very similar. It's a similar document where you're going to market yourself and create that interest, create that first impression to your employer, who will then shortlist you, who will then එගොල්ලන් ඔයාව select කරලා ඔයාත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න opportunity එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දෙයි, right? So for that is why we need to make sure we nail that resume, we nail that CV format, the layout, the colors, the font, and the content, right? Okay. So through this presentation, I'm not going to give you a template to say, okay, go and, take this template. Like Mr. Lekamge said, we tend to copy templates from the internet and just throw in the information and just submit it, That's a lazy thing that we all tend to do at the beginning. But with time, we will realize we have realized how important it is. So without wasting your time, let's speak about this so you don't spend time copying templates. Rather, you create your own resume and make it very, very special, right? And make it all about you. So, open with an elevator pitch, right? So what is this? What is this? What are we talking about? අපි resume එකක් ගත්තොත්, CV එකක් ගත්තොත්, මුලින්ම තියෙන එක තමයි, okay, you give your personal details and then you have a summary. You have a written small paragraph, right? පොඩි paragraph එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන් ගැන summarize කරලා, ඔයාගේ personality එක ගැන, ඔයාගේ background එක ගැන, ඔයාගේ educational background එක ගැන පොඩි paragraph එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන් ලියන්න ඕනේ. I mean, that's the given format, right? So please excuse the barking at the background. So here, what are you going to say? You need to make it exquisitely clear in the summary that you have what it takes to get the job done. Very, very clear. Crystal clearly this is who I am. Okay. Don't go and say you're highly motivated, you're highly enthusiastic. Those are the old ways of writing. But now what you need to say is, for example, you can start your summary with a quote, an inspirational quote, right? Oyata godak, asama quote ekak aragena eking open karan pulong. So you write the quote first, and then you connect your personality to that quote. So you say, as this quote reads on top, by one of my personal favorite inspirations, my idols. I am also a person who thrives in a hardworking environment. I am a person who, goes to any extent to really give my 100% to the organization, right? So that is something interesting, isn't it? Kawruth mehema quote ekak dala ekata connect karala liyala, it takes some time, it takes some effort and some time to do all this, but the result is amazing. Because usually when you go and write, I am a highly motivated individual, I have majored in this subject and I'm interested to join this kind of industry, එහෙම කියනකොට ගොඩක් interviewers, ගොඩක් HR managers අර summary එක skip කරනවා, because it's the same, everybody is writing the same summary and it is boring, right? But obviously we have to, when we look at as an interviewer, as an HR person, when we go through a CV, firstly we go from top to bottom, right? So if we catch something, if we find something very catchy and very interesting, someone has written like a quote, or someone has opened with nice opening for their summary, that's very interesting, so we tend to read more. So with that little summary itself, it won't even be like 10, it will only be like 20, 25 characters, right? You're going to create a very big impact. You're going to be like, wow, now this person, I want to talk to this person. මෙයාත් එක්ක මට කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. She seems to be interesting. මෙයාගේ profile එක මුලින්ම interesting, profile එකක් විදිහට මට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්, right? The HR manager will think, right? So that is why that summary, that elevator pitch is very important. Now you would have heard about the elevator pitch in any sales subject. People say when you want to sell something, the average time you spend in an elevator is 60 seconds. So how do you sell your product within that 60 seconds? How do you sell yourself within those 60 seconds? Okay, so that's what this elevator pitch is about. So write a very catchy summary, very catchy opening, and truly bring your personality out and tell people that this is who you are and you're special. Okay, you need to create that impression. ඔයාගේ specialty එක මොකක්ද කියලා එතනදිම ඔයගොල්ලන් impression එකක් create කරන්න ඕනේ. It's very important. So don't skip the summary, write the summary, and don't write a common summary like everyone else. I mean, from the internet or your past pupils or alumni or anything. Write your own summary, write a fresh one. Okay, all right. Next, very important thing, get the order right. දැන් අපි CV එකක් අරන් බලනකොට, right? Sometimes some people have stated their skills first. Then they go into write their education. Then they go into write their recognitions at school, at university. Then they go into write, their, some CVs I have seen in career fairs and, in university career fairs, some children, like some students forget to write even the degree program, right? They forget to write the degree program. They forget to write the contact details because they're confused in which order to follow. So by the time they finish, they feel like, okay, it's done. ඉවරයි. Because ඒගොල්ලන්ට order එකක් නැහැ, structure එකක් නැහැ කරනකොට, එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන් ඔක්කොම පුරවලා ඉවර වුණාට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැනෙනවා මේක හරි, මේ document එක හරි complete කියලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙනවා, but it might not be. So you need to get the order right. It says, it makes the reader sit up straight and say, holy cow, I want to talk to him or her. Okay, may candidate එක මට කතා කරන්න ඕනෙමයි. I really want to get to know him or her. That's the kind of impression you give, because it's so structured, you're organized. That says as a person also you're organized and you look into the details. Okay, and that is very important when it comes to working environment, especially in the corporate. Very, very important to have an eye for details, right? So how can we start? What is the structure, right? You always write your name, And under it, you can maybe give your date of birth. It's not mandatory, but some places might have age limitations and age requirements. At Demo, we do not have that. We are an equal opportunity employer, and it really comes down to your competency and qualification, right? So then you can write your date of birth. Then you can give your contact details, very important, your email address, your home address, your residential address, and then your mobile number, right? And when you write your mobile number, always put +94, because maybe you're applying to a multinational company, maybe you're applying to like a subsidiary of a foreign company. So maybe the recruiting manager is from a foreign land and they want to call you up for the interview. So we have to be proactive and ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ අර country අපේ code එක තියෙනවානේ, the pin, the number to dial, right? So you give that, you say +94 and then your number, right? And then you come to the summary. Now you can a photograph is really optional. Like you can put a photo. I mean, it's gonna add color to your CV, like I said before. But adding a photograph is completely optional, right? Then you have your summary, right? Then, if you're going to stick to a simple template, then you go and write first your educational background, and that too your latest. So in a CV, you always write the latest first, latest experience first, latest educational qualification first. So now if you're in a university, then university එකේ ඉන්නවා නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ university degree එක තමයි මුලින්ම mention කරන්න ඕනේ. And then you talk about your A levels, then O levels, right? Then if you have any internship experience, mention that, right? And then you can have a column for your skills, and then you can have a column for your language proficiency. That is also important. Lots of companies want to know how many languages you can speak. Our native languages like Tamil and Sinhala, how proficient are you in those languages, okay? So it's important. You can also include your language proficiency. Sinhala kela dala, you can say native. Native means it's your mother tongue, and then Tamil, again native. English, fluent or moderate or basic, you can give those so that you're just giving more information for the interviewer to know you better, right? So you give your skills, you give your language proficiencies, and then you can also give your interest, right? And then you can go and speak about your recognitions, okay? So we always keep extracurricular activities and recognition to the end, okay? Lastly, we expect, in a right format, you always go and write your extracurricular activities, how you were part of the sports club, your prefectship in school, any clubs and societies that you were part of in the university, and recognitions. If you have received any special recognitions in the university or in school, you can mention it there, and then give references, okay? So when I say references, it's something very important. People often don't know how to pick the right reference. Now, if you're right after university and you don't have any working experience, then it's always advisory to give 3 references, non-related referees, right? So you can give 2 of your professors, anyone. It could be a dean, it could be a professor, someone who knows you as a student, who knows and who's worked with you in the university and who's close to you. And then third one is a non-related referee. So that should be like a family friend who knows you as a child, right? This is only because you are a fresh graduate and you're going right after uni. So the third is non-related referee, and that should be again a family friend who knows you as a child. Now, don't go and pick anybody. You can, sit and think about people who are in like good professions, that can be a business person, that can be a professional, can be a pilot, doctor, whoever in your family, not your relative, but like a family friend, right? Then you put that person's detail as well. And when you pick all these people, don't go for the big names. Don't go for the, big names and big designations and people with influence. It has to be people who know you as a person, as a student, and people who have good regards about you. Now, we don't want anyone to call and like, api then corporate එකේ ඔයාගේ CV එක බලලා referees ලට call කරාම ඒ කවුද ස්වාති කියලා මට කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා, it shouldn't be a person like that, right? It should be a person who knows you, and it should be a person who thinks positively about you, who will give you a good recommendation. That is very important, right? Okay. Be selective. A resume is a very selective body of content. It's not meant to be comprehensive. If it doesn't contribute to convincing the hiring manager to talk to you, then take it out, right? Now, again, don't go and write your life history in the resume. Keep it very condensed, okay? Crisp. That's what I said. Crisp and clear information should be, right? Now, don't go and even in the extracurricular section, some students have huge extracurricular and recognition, section, because they have gone and written every little detail, every little thing they did in school. Being a part of the drama club, being a part of the arts club, being a part of the, commerce club. So being a part of that doesn't say anything. Yes, where හිඳලා තියෙනවා commerce club එකේ, but what is the value addition? What is your learning? ඔයා මොකක්ද ඒකෙන් අරගත්ත learning එක, right? ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේවල් මොකක්ද? What did you do differently? So that's what you need to mention, right? If you have done something exceptional in that club and if you have been recognized, then mention that. If not, take it out, okay? Because that's really not going to add any value, right? So that's what I mean by being selective. And again, in the skills section, now don't go and write like 20 skills: organization, time management, public speaking, all that. Don't. Identify, sit and think, put all those skills down and rate yourself. Okay, organization, 5 points. Time management, don't even mention, because time management is a given. Everybody has to manage time, because at corporates or any work environment, you will have to juggle with multiple responsibilities. You have to manage all that work at once. So don't rate yourself against time management. It's an outdated thing to do, right? So pick those, put those down in a paper, pick the most highest, like the most strongest skills, okay? If your strongest skill is public speaking, then put that. If your strongest skill is interpersonal, then put that, right? And how are your IT skills? You can write about, the softwares, or the softwares. If you're very conversant with Microsoft Office, put that. If you're conversant with G Suite, you can mention that as well. G Suite is like Microsoft. We also have Google applications. For Word, there is an application. For Excel, there's another application. For presentation, for Microsoft presentation, there's something similar in Google. So if you're aware of all that, then mention that. But other than this, don't go and put like 30 to 20 to 25 skills, because you can't get a clear picture. No? You can't really read this person and understand, okay, what are they really good at? We don't want to know that 100 odd list that obviously all of us will have a lots of skills. We are all multi-skilled and multi-talented. That is very much understood. But what are we really, really good at? Okay. Share accomplishments, not responsibilities. Now, for example, some of you might have already started internships. Some of you might have already started part-time jobs and full-time jobs. So if you want to mention your jobs and your experience, right? Don't, you make your job role like 1 to 2 sentences. Okay. If you were a marketing intern, then in 1 to 2 sentences, say what you did. And in points, you can talk about your achievements, right? I was an active part of the, demo retail Black & Decker marketing campaign in 2019. And we were able to increase sales by this percent, right? And that campaign was able to, we were able to increase sales by this percent. I initiated this campaign. Okay. I played an active role in generating ideas for this campaign. I played an active role in improving a process at this organization. I played an active role in writing a policy, in assisting to writing a policy. I played, I have liaised with external, organizations and ministries and state authorities to organize an event, gala event, which had this much of audience. So you're giving numbers, you're talking about your accomplishments and not just your responsibility. Okay, don't go and write report generation, uh, putting presentations together, presenting to an audience. මේ වගේ responsibilities ඔයගොල්ලන් එතන කරේ වැඩ මොකක්ද කියලා ගොඩක් points දාන්න එපා. Just summarize that in 1 to 2 sentences and ඔයගොල්ලන් එතනදී achieve කරේ මොකක්ද? ඒ numbers are, those points, give it to them. So as an employer, we know, okay, right, they've done something. They've been a part of something bigger than just going and doing the, day-to-day operational work, right? Make it readable. Now, I cannot stress more on this to tell you how important this is, okay? Some people, now, when I said let's make your CV colorful, I didn't mean it literally. Ama මුලින් ඔයගලන්ට කිව්වේ let's add color to your CV කියලා. එතකොට ගිහලා දාන්න එපා heading එක red color, picture එක tint කරලා එහෙම colors දාන්න කිව්වේ literally මම colors දාන්න කිව්වේ නැහැ, but we are going to write in a certain way. We are going to format it in a certain way. We are going to set the layout in a certain way. Make it clear. That is what adds color to your profile, right? It can be a plain black and white CV, but for a HR person to read it, it should be interesting, right? And clear. Don't use too many bold, italics, underline, different kind of fonts. Keep it simple. Use Times New Roman. Use basic fonts like Calibri font, right? And don't write too small, don't keep your fonts very small. And don't because you have a lot to add, like I said, first of all, be selective, but still, if you are an exceptional undergraduate, you have so many accomplishments, so many extracurricular activities that you have done. Write it, but don't make the fonts really small to fit into that one paper or 2 papers. Okay, make it clear, because if the person who you want to impress misses your information, then the whole point is lost, right? So it's not how fancy it is, it's how clear, clean, and elegant it is in its simplicity. Make it simple, elegant, right? Clean and clear. So that's very important. Fonts. Formatting is very, very important. After you put all your information, formatting ekata, velava aragena balala, then you can refer to templates online and see how it's formatted, how it's written very clearly, right? So keep that in mind and always focus on the format. Get help. Okay. At a minimum, have someone else check your resume, logic, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Now, this is also very, very, very important. We don't think අපි හිතන්නේ දැන් you know spelling grammar screening එකක් කරනවා අපේ you know HR අපි ලියන HR manager නැත්නම් අපේ මං ලියන employer company එකේ මගේ CV එක බලලා spelling grammar mistake මොකද yeah true බලන්නේ they won't check but if they identify something that will be a huge black mark for you because that shows again you have not given attention to details. You have not read your CV after you did it twice or thrice, or you know as many times as you should have to remove or change that spelling error. Right? So very, very important that you go through the CV, get a kind friend's help. If you think your English is not as good, then you know find someone, a friend or a relative or family member, somebody who is fluent in English, and get them to go through their CV one by one. You know, buy them cupcake, you know, do something for them, get, you know, make sure that they really focus and screen your CV for you so that you don't make any grammar, spelling, or logical mistakes, right? Okay, now this, actually we are at the latter bit of, you know, writing a CV. Now this is also very, very important. As much as we have our CVs updated, all done, right? We also need to now have our LinkedIn profiles updated. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile here? Let's see the chat. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile? Okay, I see 4 participants raising hands, 5. Yeah, raise your hand. Great, great, great. So, because why this is important is amazing. So, a lot of you have LinkedIn profiles, right? Why this is important is now LinkedIn has been an amazing tool for employers to screen employees online, to search, to headhunt, do the headhunting in-house and pick profiles. So it is very, very important for you to, you know, have this aligned. Now let me just share this. I have a link to share with you. Give me a second. Okay, I'm going to share a link with you. And this is a guide to build your LinkedIn profile, right? Let's go back to sharing my screen, just a minute. Okay, right? So I've just shared that link. Go to it, check it out. It's a guide. A link එකේ තියෙන එක LinkedIn වලින්ම දාලා තියෙන guide එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ profile එක for an undergraduate, how you should develop and you know, put together your LinkedIn profile. So this is very important. Again, don't cut and paste from your CV. Don't do that. Don't be lazy, right? But now when you write in your LinkedIn profile, there is a summary section where you have to write about yourself. And there, එතනදී අපි third person format එකේ තමයි අර summary එක ලියන්නේ. දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මගේ account එක කියලා Swati, right? So I will go and be like, Swati is a major in international business. Swati has so many years of experience. And she works for she works for Demo. She has been employed there for 3 years, and her expertise is employer branding and diversity and inclusion. So you write in third person view, right? That is very important. That's the layout for LinkedIn. And then you go and add your certificates, any diplomas that you have done. Don't forget to add any sort of, like if you have organized an event, then add the, you know, under your experience, like say marketing intern experience, you can go and add links to web links where people can go and see the event, the news about that online event. If you have written any articles, right? If you have translated any articles, lots of translators here. If you have written any, like, poetry or whatever, link to the web page so that there is concrete evidence to your work, right? And LinkedIn is amazing. You can go and choose the skills that you are, your strongest skills. You can get your professors to endorse your skills, speak to your professors. ඔයගලගේ professors ට කියලා LinkedIn ඔයාගේ LinkedIn profile එකේ ඔයාගේ skill set එක endorse කරන්න කියන. There is an option. So if they think ඒගොල්ලන් හිතනවා නම් ඔයාගේ leadership skills හොඳයි කියලා, එයාට ගිහිල්ලා ඔයාව endorse කරන්න පුළුවන් that Swati has great leadership skills. They can even write, or they can simply go and say, click on that endorsement window, and that is another advantage. So if an employee is headhunting profiles of undergraduates, they can see your profile and be like, okay, quite a lot of people have endorsed this person's skills, right? So have a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, do it today. Okay, so okay, now the next very, very important thing that we forget is always PDF, not Word document. Please do not send Word documents. If you have done your CV in Word, don't send that document. Okay, it can be edited by other people. Always convert it into a PDF and email it to the company, right? Always. Please remember this. It's very important. We have, in our employee like talent pool, the CV pool, CV bank, we have lots of Word documents. And when you send, the other thing is the format can go here and there. Because of different computers, different softwares that are there in the computer. So it's very difficult to read. Now, what did we say earlier? We have to make it very clear and clean, right? Api CV එක clean, clear වෙන්න ඕනේ. Word එකේ දාලා ඔයා document එක ලියවලා එතකොට අර අනිත් computer එකේ ඒවා ඔක්කොම messed up වෙනවා නම් it's not going to be easy for the employee to understand. Obviously, out of 1,000 CVs, if one CV is in Word and if it's not readable, they will not even take time to go through it because it's a waste of time. So don't do that. Don't miss out on the opportunity. Always convert it into a PDF and share your CV, right? Okay, here's another resource. Let me stop sharing and share the link here as well. Okay, so this is an online software. Let me go back to my slide. Canva is a really easy, really user-friendly online software which has templates to make your CV. Now, like we mentioned earlier, don't copy the same template, but here you find really interesting templates, and it might even give you suggestions to write your content. So work is done easily, and you can download your document as a PDF itself other than Word, right? And it has a lot of features to add color to it. Now I'm talking about literally colors, and to play with shapes and formats and make it really interesting. So use this. It's very, very easy to understand. May website ekata gihilla ඔයගොල්ලන් spend some time to browse through it. Okay, play with it. Always don't expect everything to come with a guide, everything to come with a catalog. You have to be api tech savvy වෙන්න ඕනේ මේ කාලේ, right? So ඔයගොල්ලන් මේ website එකට ගිහලා time spend කරන්න, කොහොමද මොන templates තියෙනවද කියලා බලන්න, CVs හදන්න, use it and add more to it. Don't stick to the same template. you can play around with the features, right? So I hope you find this useful as well. Okay, so now we're going to move into writing a cover letter. I just want to, take a stop here and ask if any of you have any questions regarding writing a great CV, a resume. Anybody, any questions? Please feel free to unmute and ask. Any questions?
Hello, Miss.
Yes.
Excuse me. I want to know whether when we're writing a cover letter, CV, when it comes to that point, so there are job requirements. So are we basically giving the selection for that first, and are we gonna write our skills according to that, or are we forgetting? Are we trying to forget that part, and are we going to write our skills? Job requirements are important, really. So, and for that, we have to make our order for the cover letter and CV as well. But I have a problem. Like, what is the flow of that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss.
Hopefully, thank you. Thanks for that question. So yes, that's a very good question, but that is more related to writing a cover letter, right? Your CV doesn't, you don't have to change your CV every time you apply to a new job. So like I said, CV has to be authentic and has to speak your, personality, your strongest skills. And you can bend this the way you want in your cover letter, which we will go in a minute. There you can make it customized to each job category that you're applying for, right? But in your CV, make it static, because it can be a little hassle to go back and change your CV format every now and then. So keep your strongest skills and keep it authentic, and keep it simple. When you're writing a cover letter, you can match with the organization's job requirement and write your cover letter. Was that clear, Upali?
Yeah, Miss. Thank you.
Welcome. And Hasini, I tried, I tried the link. It works. Just try maybe again in a while. It will work for you. The LinkedIn link, right?
Excuse me, Miss. Yes. I can't see the link in the chat.
Okay. I have put the links. Okay, right. I think it's gone privately. Oh dear. Wait. Okay. Right. Now this link is the guide to get your profile, your LinkedIn profiles done. And yes, thank you, Mr. Lekange, for sharing the Canva link to everyone. I'm sorry, I haven't changed the settings. So I hope now it's visible.
Yeah, Miss Swati, can I disturb you for a minute?
Sure.
Right now, actually, now say our students have so many skills. They have so engaged in so many things. But suppose when they apply different jobs, when they fill the CV or the resume or CV, they can select their skills that are specifically relevant to that job, isn't it?
Mr. Lekamge, we can do this, right? Now, students have participated in lots of extracurricular activities. From that, they would have gained specific skills. So now that, yes, you can alter. Like I said, don't put all your recognitions, don't put all your extracurricular activities in your CV. That's not going to make sense. But if you think Now, say you want to be a sports coach, and you want to explain your experience in sports, then you go into details and write about every every opportunity that you have got in sports, every sports club that you've been a part of, every tournament that you've won. Then it makes sense to go into details. But other than that, it's always advisable to keep it simple and generic and very authentic, so that your skills, to be honest, without much experience, our skills will be the same. We will not have such diverse sets of very strong skills. We do have a lot of skills, but it will not all be strong. Only when you have experience, only when you put that skill to practice, will you become strong in that skill. So identify those and put it down in your CV. Not everything, because again, interviewers won't spend much time looking at those details. If it is 4 or 5 very, very important, very, authentic skills, then that would do.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Right. Okay, let's go back into our presentation. Okay, now cover letter. A cover letter that gets you a job. Okay, CV එකකුත් එහෙම තමයි ඔයා කිව්වේ, job එක ගන්න CV එක ඕනේ කියලා. Then what is this cover letter, right? So let me break it to you here itself. In a lot of corporate jobs, you don't need to write a cover letter. Okay, and a cover letter will also be very simple and a small summary. It doesn't have to have a lot of details of your accomplishments and everything. And honestly speaking, not a lot of corporate employees go through cover letters. This, straight away go to the CV. But in other industries, if you want to work in other industries, for example, if you want to get into education, if you want to get into humanitarian work, the development sector, cover letter is mandatory, is imperative. Godak, වැදගත්, right? So again, it depends on the industry. Corporates, not so much. CV has to be on point. Cover letter, even if you don't send a cover letter, it's okay. But some organizations will specifically ask for a cover letter. At that point, if you just give your cover letter, that's enough. But other than that, you don't have to give your cover letter to every corporate job that you apply for. But other industries, if you want to be a humanitarian worker, if you want to be a consultant, counselor, if you want to be a social worker, if you want to be a lecturer, if you want to get into educational, industry, then a cover letter is like your holy grail, right? It's very, very important. Sometimes more important than your CV, because they really look into see these NGOs and development sector organizations really look into your cover letter to see what is the motivation behind you wanting this job. උගොල්ලන්ගේ motivation එක මොකද්ද? ඔයාට ඇයි මම මේ job එක දෙන්න ඕනේ? Because it's very competitive also, right? So they really want to know what is this reason behind, and they will spend even half an hour, 1 hour reading one cover letter, right? So get that right. So the point of a cover letter is to help recruiter get to know you a bit more. ඇයි අපි cover letters ලියන්නේ? Okay, දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ CV එක දැක්කම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට clear, crisp idea එකක් එනවා. මේක තමයි මෙයාගේ personality, මේක තමයි මෙයාගේ skills, right. When you write a cover letter, you dive a little deep into it and you really understand, okay, how have they used their skills? How have they used their strengths? Right? So that is what the cover letter is really for, to learn ඔයගොල්ලන් ගැන ගොඩක් චුට්ටක් deeper knowledge එකක් අරගන්න. Right? Think of your resume as an outline of your career and the cover letter as the description. Right? So in your resume, you're going to say marketing intern. In your cover letter, you're going to talk about everything that you did, your responsibilities, to your accomplishments, your additional, the additional service that you have done as an intern, any projects that you've been a part of and how successful that project was, etc. Right? Okay. Don't reiterate your entire resume. Resume ඔයාගේ CV එකේ දාලා තියෙන ඔක්කොම දේවල් මේකේ copy කරලා ලියන්න එපා. It's not going to be useful. Nobody wants that. Okay? Because cover letters, like I said, for the jobs that you apply, for the jobs that that require cover letters, yes, you need to write a lot, but you need to write something more than your CV. You're writing this as a backup for your CV, right? Include highlights from your resume that are the most relevant to the position you're applying for. Then මෙතනදී තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන් customize කරන්නේ ඔයාගේ profile එක මේ job එක match කරන්න. So to match this job, what skills am I going to talk about? If it's a marketing job, I'm going to talk about my interpersonal skills, my presentation skills, my public speaking skills. If it's an HR job, I'm going to speak about my people management skills. I'm going to speak about my again, customer service, right? Because you're always interacting with people, you're the custodian of people, and you have to talk to a lot of people, resolve their problems, support them throughout. So how is your people management skills? How is your customer service skills, right? And how is your, writing skills? You might have to write a lot. If you're going to be a researcher, then you will have to talk about a separate set of skills and really explain how you have used the skill in the past. Okay, at points where you have used this, skill use karala mokadda kare. What did you achieve? Okay, what is the project that you did? If it was team working, then you have done an excellent job as a team in your final year project or something, or you've been a part of ISAC, you've been a part of Rotaract clubs, these clubs and societies. Then they are talk about, okay, I was an active part of the Rotaract Club of University of Sabaragamuwa, and through this club, we were able to organize this many events, and I managed a team of this many people, and we delivered outcomes on time, and we were able to achieve this results, increase the membership of our club by this %, so that is what you have to write here. Okay, use specific figures to quantify your results. Just what I told you, right? Ogulang may cover letter ke use lots of numbers. So this is why guys, it's very, very important that you be a part of these clubs and societies and extracurricular activities in your university and in your school. School is over, you can't go back and do anything, but now take the opportunity. If you want to be a part of a club or society, and if that is not part of the university, then look for it outside the university. Join as a private individual, and be a part of these organizing events and campaigns. Just gain as many experiences as you can. I can't even tell you how important that is and how much it's going to teach you about the world outside your university, because it's going to be a shock. It's going to be a big shock when you go to work. It's a different place, it's a different culture. You have to maintain your personal boundaries, you have to be professional, diplomatic. You can't machangdala, you can't talk to everybody. Okay, there will be organizations where there is a family-like culture, just like DEMO, we have a family-like culture. But there will also be organizations who are very, very professional, very, very diplomatic, and you really have to think of what's the right thing to say, what's the wrong thing to say. So all this you will learn by being a part of similar experiences throughout your university life. So take those opportunities, and then in your cover letter, speak about those opportunities, right? Now, if you, like I said before, if you organized an event and if you have published a press article about that event, link that press article. If there's an online article, link it. You know, I was being a part of this club, I was able to organize this event. You know, hyperlink that event bit. You can do that in Word, hyperlink it so that when the reader is reading, they can click on the link and see, okay, something like this has actually happened. And they can see how big it is, how many people came, the, you know, the details of the event, what happened, all that. And again, you're giving more in-depth detail about your experience, right? That is going to be very, very important. If you have volunteered in projects, now that is also a very interesting area to look at. Be a part of volunteering. There are lots of online volunteering programs. If you are into social work, if you are into, you know, social justice, right? Just give me a second. Sorry about that. I hope you can see me again. So give those details, right? And it should be measurable, when I say quantifiable results, measurable. ඒකට number එකක් දාලා, you know, people should understand, okay, ඔයා මෙච්චර impact එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා. This out of your work, ඔයාගේ වැඩ නිසා මේ තරම් impact එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ organization එකට, මේ society එකට, right? That's going to add a lot of value. Highlight your soft skills. Mention the skills that are your strengths in your cover letter, and use examples to back them up. Now, whatever you say in your cover letter, I am strong in interpersonal skills, you know, okkama, you know, for all the ogolange statements okkamatama ඔයා backup statement එකක් නැත්නම් example එකක් දෙන්න ඕනේ for the you know, HR person, for the employer to understand with proof, right? So you can highlight your skills here. You can talk about, you can really customize and talk about your skills. But you need to give them solid examples. You need to give them solid, you know, experience or, you know, proof that you have actually done this and you actually have this skill, so that the employer can trust, and they will understand that you're honest. Because letter එකක් ලියන්න ඕනේ කියලා we can write a on the you know, story එකක් කියවන්න පුළුවන්, but it has to be true, no, and it has to be believable. So in order to bring that element into it, you need to give backup examples and proof. Explain gaps in your history. Now, when I say gaps in your history, right? For example, in my resume, I have a gap in my university degree. I took a semester break and I was a trainee educator at a preschool in Colombo. So that gap, we're not going to talk about that gap in your CV. අපි ඒ gap එක ගැන, ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ semester break එක ගැන, නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ gap year එක ගැන CV එකේ මුකුත් කතාව කියන්නේ. But in cover letter, there is a chance for you to talk about it and say, this is why you took that gap. So at the interview, they won't even ask you, because they know this is why you took that gap. Now, it can be because you went for a volunteering program. It can be because you went for a internship program, වැඩ කරන්න ගියා කියලා ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. නැත්නම් personal matter එකක් වෙලා, නැත්නම්, you know, health emergency, anything, it's okay. You know, be honest. Honesty is very, very important. Honesty is key, right? So explain about it in your cover letter. Personalize it. Now, this is the very, very important bit that we all forget to do. Right? Like we write any letter, අපි ගිහිල්ලා උඩම දානවා to whom it may concern. To whom it may concern කියන එක normal letter එකේ දාන එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. But cover letter එකේ දාන එක චුට්ටක්, it can come off as ignorant and disrespectful, right? So sometimes you don't know the person you're going to send it to, right? But it'll always be an HR manager. So safely go and say, dear HR manager, dear recruitment manager, right? And then write your letter. Do not mention to whom it may concern. It's not acceptable. It's not a respectful thing to do. And it can come off as you are being ignorant. So take that off. Even better if they have mentioned now Samara job advertisements වල කියනවා මේ email එකට යවන්න කියලා swati.kandaya@dmolanka.com. එතකොට you automatically know the person you're sending the CV is Swati Kandaya. That's their name. So do a quick Google, right? Do a quick search on LinkedIn. If you identify the profile and if you see, okay, this person works at Demo, then you know this is the person you're sending to. So in your cover letter, nicely go and address the person saying, dear Miss Swati Kandaya, dear Miss Kandaya, and people will be surprised. People will be acknowledged. And these small things can make a difference, right? So pay attention to. Link the keywords. Now this is where you go and check out the duties and responsibilities. Advertisement එකක් ගත්තොත් ඒකේ තියෙනවා job role එක, right? Job responsibilities and profile, the candidate's requirements. Candidate profile එක මේක වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා points තියෙනවා. Grab those points, use those keywords in your cover letter. If the responsibility says expected to coordinate between cross-functional teams, then you mention in your cover letter, I have coordinated this event. I have coordinated with multiple institutions, private institutions, state institutions, multiple groups to make this event a success where this many people came and all those numbers, right? So use those coordination, liaising, leading, what else? What are the other things that we see? Expected to have, keen eye for details, attention to detail, analytical skills. Those will be mentioned in the job advertisement itself. So scan it, take a print screen, take a screenshot of the job advertisement, keep it with you. When you write the cover letter, go back to it and see, okay, what are the key things that they want to see, what are the key personality traits that they're looking for. If it's coordination, talk about coordination. If it's leadership, talk about leadership, right? So make sure to grab those points and put it in your cover letter. Very, very important. Customize it. Okay, like I said before, ගොඩක් competition තියෙනවා, ගොඩක් ළමයි jobs වලට apply කරනවා. So it's very, very difficult to nail the job. Get the opportunity if you're going to send a general curriculum, general cover letter. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ general skills, general ඔක්කොම දාලා, if you send it, if you keep sending it, there is nothing for the employer, for the company to, for the HR manager to read and see why this person wants this particular job, why this person is good at this particular job. ඔයා මේ තියෙන මේ job එකට ඇයි ඔයා suitable කියලා understand කරන්න, it's difficult unless you customize it. So take your time. Yes, it can be time consuming, but make sure to include those keywords. And at the finishing point, as a conclusion, write why you are the most suitable person for this job. Why you, what is your motivation behind being a part of this organization? How you have looked up to this organization, how you always wanted, if it's a multinational, how you always wanted to work for a multinational. If it's a diversified company like Demo, who we are in over 15 business sectors, so you talk about it. I have always wanted to be a part of an organization that has diversified business operations so that I can improve my learning and give my best input and grow with the company. So all that, then people know, okay, you've written for the job at DIMO. This is not a general letter, right? So customize it that way. Okay, we've come to almost the end of it. Now here, unlike the CV, I wanted to give you a little format. You can take a pen and a paper and quickly note these things down, right? So putting things down on paper, we write it in the computer. This is just, for the namesake, heading sake, I wrote it this way. So cover letter එකේ sections මොකක්ද මොන information ද අපි දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා පොඩි summary එකක් මම මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවා. So you can look at it. Header, personal details. So just like your CV, you can write your name in the middle, and then you can give your contact details, your like I said before, the residential address, phone number, and email address. Then you write the date, follow the letter format, everything aligned to your left, date, address bar. If you know that you're sending your cover letter to Swati Kandaya at dimolanka.com, then say Miss Swati Kandaya, demo address, right? Then salutation, dear recruiter manager, or dear Mr. or Miss whoever. Then the subject line, job application, dash, and then you put the job title, right? Then there is the body section. So intro, I am writing in response to the job vacancy. It's very, very important to open that way and say why you're writing, the purpose behind this letter. That should be your first line, right? So mulimma ogalan kiyanne ai me letter එක ලියන්නේ කියලා. මේ letter එක ලියන හේතුව කියනවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ. I am writing in response to the job vacancy of marketing executive at DIMO or Diesel Motor Engineering PLC, right? Then your current profile. I am a passionate undergraduate following the stream of sales and marketing, blah, blah, blah. Currently, I serve as a branding intern at this company, and in my current capacity, I have been responsible for this. That's how you write, okay? If you don't have work experience, then that's fine. You can, finish it off as, I'm an undergraduate following this stream, okay? And I wish to specialize in branding. Now, even marketing or human resources is a very broad category. So under that, what do you want to specialize in? Give that detail, right? Then you can speak about your educational background. I hold a bachelor's in this, along with a certificate, diploma, and I'm currently reading for this. Now these days, lots of people, Godak, Katia, not just students, even we are doing like online courses and all of that. So you can mention that, okay? Mention that as well. So here, this is the place for you to go into details. Then you speak about skills, strengths, and experience. So during my university life, I have been, excuse my spelling error there, I have been an active part of ISAC, where I have organized this event, or I have coordinated this event, or I have led this initiative, which resulted in, right? Which resulted in an increase of this many people, this many membership. You're going to talk about numbers, like I mentioned earlier. Now here, I have also mentioned, brackets එකේ දාලා තියෙනවා, include links, articles, news items, web pages. Okay, you're giving proof, you're giving evidence, you're backing up your statement with examples. That is very important, right? Then lastly, your motivation to join this organization. Okay, summarize specific skills. Now you would have spoken about leading, coordinating, and all that, but you can go into details and speak about, I have hands-on experience in working with, a team of 15 people, in curating campaigns, in initiating policies, in formulating policies. And this is why I think I will be the most suitable candidate for this position, right? Link those important skills and say why you are the most suitable person, right? So what have I said? Summarize specific skills that complement this job requirements. Your passion, what are you really passionate about? If you're really passionate about marketing, talk about it. Be honest. Honesty is very important. ඔයගොල්ලන් ඇත්තටම කොහොමද feel වෙන්නේ මේ job එකට නැත්නම් මේ sector or this stream, right? And why you desire this job or organization, how you have looked up to this organization, how you always wanted to be a part of a multinational, how you always wanted to be a part of a huge engineering organization, and lastly, how you will support their success. Now that's important. No? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඕන වෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ කම්පැනි එකේ join වෙන්න, ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඕන වෙන්න ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් මේ job එක කරන්න, but how is it that you are going to add success to the organization? So you can say all this experience, my personality, my openness to learning will complement the success of this organization, and I am looking forward to work with this team in order to add to the success of your marketing team, or in order to contribute to the success of your excellent human resources team, right? So you speak good about the organization, and then you also say, you are going to help the organization. And then you close saying thank you, you're sincerely, and you sign, right? So this is the format. You can use this. You can take a screenshot of this and use it when you have to write a cover letter later, right? So I've just linked given you some useful resources again. These are online resources, Meva. So just go and type Harvard Business Reviews, how to write cover letter, Harvard Business Reviews, how to write a CV, Harvard Business Review on interview skills. Okay, then again Forbes, the HR Digest, Entrepreneur, Better Teams. These are all online blogs, websites, and magazines which have very useful articles in curating your CVs and cover letters and preparing you for interviews and everything. So again, you can take a screenshot of this, and yeah, let me give you a minute if you want to take it down or take a screenshot. That's it. I hope you're not feeling this way, but any questions? Any questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I have a question for you. Is it okay?
Go ahead, Upali.
Ma'am, with the cover letter point with the links and articles and webs, so if we have done something like extra an extra activity, so if you want to, we can add the links over there, but the thing is, miss, like how to add articles, web pages and blogs and those things without if it is not a link. If it is a link, we can add, but if it is not a link, do we have to attach that with the suitable cover letter, or else what we have to do, miss?
Right, so it again depends on the profession, right? If your job requires you to write articles, write research papers, write journals, and if you have written articles and journals, then include separately pictures on that document itself and say writing sample. Okay, so that is your writing sample. It shows that you have written this document and it cannot be found online, so you're going to send that. Other than that, if you can't find links of events that you organized, I wouldn't advise you to put pictures or create another PDF with pictures of those events as a collateral. No, that's not advisable. If you have links, that's amazing. If not, if you want to share your written pieces, your articles, you can share that separately as writing samples. Yes, Hasni, I see you have raised your hand. You have a question?
No, ma'am. I think it is the previous one that is still showing.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Miss, if it's like you said, we don't have to apply I mean attachments like for web pages and articles, those stuff. But for links, if we have links, that means we can add to the cover letter, or else we are going to attach it in the mail. Like if you are making
in the cover letter, you have to attach it in the cover letter. Now, say you, okay, for example, I organized, ISACs, for example, right? I was an active part of organizing ISAC's International Conference 2020. Then you highlight that ISAC International Conference 2020, right click on that, and you will have an option to hyperlink that text. So add the link there. Don't add like links separately, but be smart and select the text, select the description of the event or the article that you're talking about, then hyperlink that text, so that when you when you convert it into a PDF again, they can just click on it and it'll take them to the website.
Thank you so much, Miss.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
Madam, can you show us a sample of a cover letter?
Well, I don't. Are you referring to my slide?
Yes, madam.
Okay. I don't have a sample cover letter on me at the moment, but I can take you back to my slide. So until you take this down, anyone else, any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think Ruandi has raised her hand. Some Ruandi.
Okay. I'm sorry,
Yes,
Ruandi, I can't
Miss,
see. Yes.
I have a question. Sorry, I am talking about something you discussed at the beginning of this event. So I would like to ask you some examples. That means you were speaking about some quotes. I am talking about the summary that we are going to insert at the beginning of our resume. So it will be better if you can provide us some examples for such quotes.
Okay, now, right. So you can go online and you can search motivational quotes. You can search quotes of, business people like Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos and, artists and anyone. It can be even like a YouTube influencer that you follow. It can be an actor who is your inspiration. It has to come from you, right? Who do you look up to? A famous figure you look up to, their quote, right? And how that inspires you as a professional. Okay, so that is what I meant. So you write the quote on top, and then you, in your summary, you will write, as stated above, by my idol. If the quote is about hard work, like I mentioned before, you can say, I am also an individual who thrives in a hardworking environment. Okay, and it's my personality, it's my personality trait to give my 100% and be focused in work, sort of, and really persevere, or like stay persistent in completing something that I started. So like that, you connect your personality to that quote and you explain how, as a professional, how you're going to work or assist the organization. That's what I meant.
Thanks, Madam. Got it.
Anyone else? Oh, we have a question in the chat box. Ishani, I still don't see the question. So if you could share your question again. And someone else, I think Lehini had asked, what's the difference between cover letter and CV? I hope I addressed your question throughout while I was conducting my, presentation. Any more questions? I could also see the chat box, so if you want to just drop your question in the chat box, please feel free. Will you be able to explain that you have mentioned before something called gap? Okay. So any gap in the history, that's what I was talking about, Ishani. So like I mentioned earlier, for example, during my university degree, right? During my degree, I took one semester off. So, so I did my foundation, which was about 8 months. And then after completing my foundation, I was going to go to, start my first year in, say, July. But I didn't. I requested for a semester gap. So the next semester would start in October. So I wanted to join in October, join back and start my first year in October. So my university was, flexible to offer me that. I'm sure you can do that here as well. I mean, depending on your faculty and the management. And then I went and I wanted to get this experience as a teacher because, like I said, as a kid, I wanted to be a teacher, right? So I went and I was an educator. I was a trainee educator at a preschool for 4 months. So that gap, sometimes there can be a more prominent gap. Now, say if you have taken a gap year, if your degree is 3 years, but you have done your degree for 4 or 5 years because you've taken like 2 years off, then employers might think, why? What happened? Then they might think, okay, did she or he fail 2-3 modules to keep going back and doing the degree. So if you want to explain that, if you had taken a gap year to go and work somewhere, to do an internship, to do a volunteering program, or if you have taken a gap in your studies to focus on something personal, maybe a health issue or something, mention that in your cover letter and explain that this is why you took the gap. Yes, you can mention all the courses and diplomas that you have done, even in your CV. So even in your CV, under the education section, mention the certificates, mention the certificate courses, and mention the diplomas that you have done. Again, if it's like a certificate course in something, something that you wanted to do because it's your passion, right? Like a dancing course or a music course or a culinary course, because it was your passion, but it doesn't really add value to the job that you're going to do, then refrain from adding that. But if it's something, for example, now, if it's if you want to be a marketer and you have done a digital marketing course on Facebook or Google, then add that. That's going to add value, right? Anything that that is significant, not insignificant, or not like that it won't add value to your job, don't include it. This cover letter has okay. Yes, good question. So just because I told you you have to write, a lot in your cover letter, you have to describe a lot, all that, don't write pages and pages and pages. Try to keep it condensed, maximum 1.5 A4 sheets with Times New Roman 12. So that is about 500 to 800 words maximum. Minimum can even be like 200 words, like I said, for like corporates or anything. If they have not requested a cover letter, but you are writing a cover letter, then it can be really small. But if it's an organization, especially in the development sector or the educational sector, and they have asked for a cover letter, write a big cover letter and include the links and talk about the achievements and figures and everything. More questions? Okay, we'll give a minute or two. Okay. Yes, Janani, I just received your question. So if you don't have a service letter, it's okay. Because obviously when you're sending your cover letter or your CV, you're not going to send your service letters. But at the point of interviews or at the point during selection, they might ask for a service letter. So that's why it's important, if you have worked anywhere, even for 1 month, even for 3 weeks, if you've done an internship or something, get a service letter. Because most people will ask for that. But if you don't have one, it's okay. When you're at the point of writing the cover letter, mention your experience and mention the work that you have done. And if you get selected for the job, and then if they are asking for service letter, then speak to your firm and get your service letter. Okay. Lihini, I am not very sure if the cover letter is required in the government sector. I don't want to say something that that I'm not sure about, but usually, even in the development sectors, although it's mandatory, it's important that you have to send a cover letter, they will always ask, saying, submit your resume, your cover letter, these are the documents, right? So even if it's a private organization, even if it's a corporate, they will clearly mention in the job advertisement what documents they want. So you don't have to worry. Unless it's asked, you don't have to give. So at that point, that's where it's really important that you have your resume done up really well. And your resume should be solid, your CV should be solid, so that you can get that opportunity. Oh, always print. Do not write. Do not write cover letters. It's like I said, putting things down on paper is not literal. Cover letters type කරන්න ඕනේ. Word එකේ type කරලා save it as a PDF and take a print if you want to send it, or if it's online, just send the PDF. Do not write it, because then you can't even do a spell check, grammar check. It will be difficult, right? So don't rely on that. Just take advantage of the technology that we have. Cover letter should match with the CV. Okay, so another question. Cover letter, should the cover letter and CV match? Definitely yes, because your cover letter is again a detailed description of your CV. But you have to customize it to the job as well. So you're not going to talk about every detail. Now you're not going to explain every detail that you mentioned in your CV here in the cover letter, but take your strongest skills and speak about your skills with examples, and talk about and relate it to the job. So don't copy the CV to your cover letter. Yes, your CVs also have to be condensed document now. If your CV is especially without any experience, anything more than 2 pages, that means that you don't know to edit your document, right? So if you don't have any experience, if you don't have multiple work experience, keep it short, keep it limited to maximum 2 pages, nothing more than 2, because if you just can't format your texts together, that says that you're not good at formatting the document. You don't have to change your CVs time to time, with regards to the job title, to the different jobs that you're applying for. Like, I think I addressed this before itself. Yeah, even skills. So now see, I said 5 skills, mention the strongest 5 skills. That is only if your strongest skills round up to 5. If your strongest skills go beyond 5, 6, 7, it's okay, mention it. But don't, it's not a real thing, not like very authentic to go and write like 10, 15 skills. So maximum 7, maximum 8. Any more questions? You're welcome. Like I said before, there is no right or wrong question. So just, this is your opportunity to ask, use it. Hari වැරදි කියලා මුකුත් නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න, we'll sort, we'll make it clear. Okay, I think that's it.
So I think Ms. Swati, thank you for even more than the scheduled time, more than 1.5 hours. Very entertaining discussion that you have given to our students. I think they have learned a lot actually, how they should design their CV and how they should write their cover letters. And I think in you and all the other 3 previous resource persons, what they have mentioned and highlighted was that our students have to do more than formal learning. So if they are going to survive in the world of work, they have to do a lot of things other than learning. Learning becomes a part of it, but how you shape your learning and how you use that learning to become a unique person in the world of work is what all of you have been highlighted. So therefore, I think we are doing as a faculty the right thing. We are actually making our undergraduates aware even before now. We have first year students, second year, third year, fourth year, all students. So even the first year students, now they know actually what they should do from here onwards. So till actually when we were actually learning, we didn't know all these things in our first years. So I think so therefore they are privileged. And so at the end of this very good session, I rate it very highly. And I would thank you, Ms. Swati, for actually accepting our invitation within a very short notice, and you have got a lot of pains to get ready for this. So we have seen a very good presenter in you, and we wish you all the best writing your things while thanking. And at the moment, I'm going to thank the Dean of the faculty and the staff and all the other supporting staff and the head team, and particularly the students in doing this. And special thank goes to Mr. Ravindu Sachinta for being the actually mediator, finding all our resource persons. So Thank you.
Thank
And
you
Ms.
so much.
Swati, on behalf of all our students and Sabaragamu University, stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lekamge. That means a lot. And I really hope this session was useful to all of you. Feel free to, connect with me on LinkedIn and we can continue this conversation. It doesn't end here. You can reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. And if you have any questions, you can ask me there, or you can even share your questions with your professors who can then reach out to me to my email address, and I'll be more than happy to help you all out. So thank you so much for tuning into this session. It means a lot. So many of you showed up. So I'm really happy to be sharing my knowledge with you. Like Ms. Lekamge said, you guys are really privileged to learn about these things. Like, I wish I had someone, who told me these things when I was in my university. Even then, there was very less exposure to this kind of training. So take the most of it. I know you have more sessions to come as well. Be a part of all that and have an amazing university journey. Gather as many experiences as you can because it's only going to enhance you as a person and take you closer to your dream job. So all the best to all of you, and thank you so much for the university, for the faculty, and big thanks to Ravindu for reaching out and asking us to be a part of it. I've thoroughly enjoyed this session, and I hope you did too. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Have a nice day too.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Thank you.